In my last couple of videos, I've been speaking about governance. In the first one, I spoke about the reason we need governance in our organisations, our businesses, our teams. In the last one, I spoke about what happens when governance is not achieved, so the impact of that. However, in that last video, I didn't focus on the impact on people. So how does it affect people when there is either bad governance or governance is sort of haphazard and isn't achieved? There will be some people who really care about that because they are naturally drawn to wanting structure and policies and procedures. However, there will be other people who don't care about it. And yet the reality is, even though they may not care about it, they will be impacted negatively if there is bad governance or governance is not achieved. So from a practical perspective, when governance is not achieved or there's bad governance, one of the things we will see is that there's no role clarity. People aren't sure on who's supposed to be doing what, or they create their own world around who does what, and you may have multiple people doing the same thing. And that can lead to a lot of time being wasted because of, so many people doing the same thing. And, there'll be people doing things their own way. And again, that will impact, a lot of time being wasted because we have little or no agreed way of working or doing things. And even though there might be procedures, we're paying no attention to them because we want to do things the way we want to. That then leads to, for some, confusion because they're like, well, I think I'm supposed to be doing that. And yet somebody else is saying the same thing. That obviously can lead to frustration as well because, well, what am I doing here? What is my purpose in all of this? How am I contributing? Because naturally we do want to contribute, but we will have those levels of frustration because there's no clarity around who's supposed to be doing what and how we're supposed to be doing it. Not really, a good environment to be in if we've got a lot of confusion and frustration. Then, of course, for some, this is going to impact their confidence because they think they're doing the right thing, but this is not the reality. And so that will impact how they start to contribute or they don't. They'll be holding things back. They'll be holding back how they're thinking and feeling about what's going on. And people will not perform very well when they have to do that. And they obviously don't perform well if they don't feel confident. And that will start to impact engagement. If people are not engaged, they're not on the bus for where the business is going, then, that makes it very difficult to perform and very difficult for the business to perform as a whole. And, well, I mean, really, the reality is if you've got bad governance or little to no governance, then there probably isn't clarity around where the business is going anyway. So hence why all these other things may be happening. But the reality too is that if this continues, if the bad governance continues, or we don't comply with what we're supposed to be doing in our governance, this is going to impact people's focus. It's going to be very difficult for them to focus on whatever they need to be doing because there's no clarity around that. And, of course, this is going to lead to errors. It's going to lead to mistakes. It's going to lead to rework for people. And, in extreme cases, when people aren't focused on what they're doing, that can then lead to incidents and injuries. And this obviously is something that you don't want. Now, in all of these cases, if the leader of the organisation, of the business, of the team, is not following governance, then why should anybody else? I mean, they are setting the tone, they're leading by example, so why should anyone else have to do it? And, that's going to have a lasting impact. And, for those who really care about governance and, they are driven and really like to have those guidelines to work by, that's going to, really impact them. For those people, it could really be the last straw. And, you can lose really good people if you don't follow governance, especially when it comes to holding people to account and providing those guardrails, those guidelines around how we are supposed to work together in this environment. And when someone doesn't want to do that, or isn't living the values or abiding by codes of conduct and things like that, and the leader doesn't do anything about it, that's really going to have a massive impact, because it's giving the permission for everyone to not live their values and not live by the code of conduct. And that again is where you can lose good people, because they'll be thinking, well, why should I stay here in this? So is that the sort of environment that you want to have in your team, your business, your organisation? Do you want to be losing good people? Do you want to be losing that experience? And then, of course, that then impacts those who are left behind. The workload that others have to carry because we've lost those good people and what they could bring to the organisation. And again, do you want the impact that that's going to have on your bottom line? Because bad governance will always have an impact on that bottom line, not to mention the impact that it has on your reputation as well.